If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest and new
acknowledge us.
Hey, guys, we're here at the Red Carpet Ring. We're here to talk about WWE NXT. Why NXT might surprise you soon. We're going to talk the problems with WWE NXT, the problems NXT ran into for this recent episode. So before we do begin, you guys, let's do that simple task I always have you guys do.
Not real.
Trust me.
But that doesn't do anything, man.
So let's get that going. Now this is, like I said, solid episode of NXT as a whole, but there are still some issues that we got to talk about with NXT that I'm going to dive into. We'll cover the show pretty much of what happened during the show, but definitely going to discuss the issue that happened on NXT. And of course, things that can be corrected to correct the problems that happened on NXT. So salute to everyone that came out. Let's get that in. And of course, you know, we already going to talk about it and get it in. And then, of course, we'll get back to regular NXT next week. This was a TV special, NXT New Year's Evil 2025, and also appearance with The Rock. We'll talk more about The Rock. You know, we'll get into that as well. But before we do, thank you everybody for coming out. Thank everybody for supporting the channel. So with that being said, let's get into it and let's talk about problems with NXT, things about NXT that might surprise you. About that, and we hear everybody, you know, hit the likes as you come in as we talk about NXT. Let's talk about it now. But yeah, this is something we gonna talk about. Of course, the appearance of The Rock. We're gonna talk about on this recent episode, The Rock's debut on NXT, and also let's talk about the show. We'll get to that in a second. With that being said, guys, let's look over the NXT match card for the show. Let's look over that, shall we, real quick. Now, the NXT match card as we have here, we have the match card of a pretty good stack card here, I would say. Very good stack card, NXT New Year's Evil. Now, we do have, of course, we had not just the NXT title match, but we'll talk about the NXT Heritage Cup. We're talking about that, which was Charlie Dempsey defending against Lexis King in a rematch under Southern rules. One match, one pinfall. That's pretty much it. Unlike the British Cup rules they normally have for that match, we do have a 4-way number one contenders match for the NXT North American title. Women's North American title, Kelani versus Cora, Jade versus Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice. We also had a tag team match, 6-woman tag, Fatal Influence versus the team of Shotzi, Gigi, Dolin, and Tatum, Paxley. And then, of course, the championship matches we had, which would be, we actually had an opener of the women's NXT championship match, which would be Roxanne Perez defending title against challenger Giulia. And of course, the main event, we did have a NXT title match. Now that was Trick Williams defending NXT championship against Eddy, Thorpe, and Femi. So let's talk about that. Like I said, a pretty good card here. Let's discuss more about it. see what's came into the ring before we begin and talk about this show here. Rubion's Gilbert, salute to you. Thanks for coming out to the ring. Let's talk about NXT, shall we? First off, the first match they did kick off the show. No, before we do get here, we did have also, I want to mention, we had appearances, which we'll talk about later. Triple H, he came out. We'll get back to The Rock later, who made a promo at the end. Triple H did come out to NXT. He was in the crowd. But let's get to Roxanne versus Giulia. This was a very good matchup between these two. This kicked off the whole NXT New Year Evil. The first show of the new year, I might add. I want to say that Giulia, very good talent. Roxanne, very good talent. Now, Roxanne, we have seen Roxanne. She has been shutting it down as the women's NXT champion. She had the championship for over 200 days. Not only that, she's been defeated a lot of women. I highlighted her on this channel before. But I know when the match first started, it was a technical match. It has changed of holds, counters, takedowns. You know, Roxanne got a couple near falls. Giulia got a couple near falls. I know Roxanne challenged Giulia by slap on the face. Giulia has some headbutts, everything. Very good chemistry these two have, similar to their first bout at the NXT CW debut back in October in Chicago. Very good match still. Now, these women kept a good momentum, but the turning point of the match when Cora Jade interfered, just like she did last time, it was almost a 10 count with both women out the ring. She rolled Roxanne back in the ring. However, Giulia, she was able to make it to the ring on her own. She barely made the 10 count, but despite that, Giulia had it still in there. However, the good turning point was with Giulia. She hit the Northern Lights bomb. She also hit the striker knee to the face. After both of those, she hit the finisher, pin Roxanne, as I predicted. And we have a brand new women's champion. And her name is Giulia. Congratulations to this woman. She's a brand new champion. And like I said, she did very good and is well deserved. It does not shock me at all that she put in that work, because she demonstrated how good she is in the ring. She demonstrated her technical style, her strong style, dated back to her independent days and being on Japan. And now all the hard work was paid off after wrestling for over 7 years. So we do have to congratulate Giulia and most definitely give her props as champion. And you guys already know, if you follow this channel, how do I congratulate a brand new champion? And yes, she did. And also, not just Giulia putting on a great performance and winning the NXT Women's Champion. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Great performance by Roxanne Perez as well, putting over Giulia. So let's not ignore what Roxanne's done. She's done well too. She made Giulia look like $1 million in the ring. Better yet, I'll say $1 billion. But definitely, this was a very good moment for both women. They definitely deserve this. Yeet. But I knew the match played out exactly the way I thought it was going to play out. Giulia was almost got screwed by Cora Jade again, but it didn't work, and all that stuff. I knew it was going to come down to that. But very good match to kick off the show. Congratulations to Giulia once again. Let's get on to the next match of the show. We had the four-way match: Kelani Jordan versus Cora Jade versus Stephanie versus Lola Vice. Another good performance by these women. Another good performance. I like these four working together. 4 different styles. Stephanie, strong style. Kelani, high flying. Cora Jade, high flying. Lola Vice got the brawler style. It was a good, well-paced match. It was not too short. It was not too long. Now, it wasn't perfect. Remember, this NXT, but every person was able to get it in, from Kelani, Cora, Lola and Stephanie. As you see right there, they both had all holes on each other. Kelani, she did a good moonsault. Stephanie jumped out the ring. Cora jumped out the ring. It was a very good moment there too. Now I had Cora Jade originally winning this match, but Cora Jade she can't catch a break to save her life. She really can't. She's been losing. I've been talking about that for weeks and weeks and weeks with Cora Jade, but to no avail. She did not win this either. This went down no different than the other matches that were prior to when she did compete. But I will say this: the person that I figured was going to win if Cora did not win, she won the match, and as well as Everly, they're going to push her highly. And the match came in. Stephanie Vaquer did the backbreaker on Kelani Jordan. She earned an opportunity at the NXT Women's North American Championship, which is currently held by Fallon Henley. So yes, Stephanie Vaquer wins the match. She's going to move on. And however, we're going to go back. We're going to date back to this her winning this match, because I will reference this again. But for right now, we know that Stephanie won the four-way women's match, and yes, she is going to go on to face Fallon Henley for her championship. So we do know that. But like I said, remember, we'll reference right back to this moment here. But with that being said, let's move on to the next part of the show. We had a 6-woman tag. We had Fatal Influence versus Shotzi, Tatum, Paxley, and Gigi Dolin. You know, these both teams have been feuding with each other for quite some time now. They have been feuding. With that being said, since they've been feuding with each other, we know that Fatal Influence immediately start attacking Shotzi and the rest of the team. As soon as they got into the ring, they didn't let them do their pose. Real heel tactic there. I like it. But I will say Tatum Paxley held it down. She was giving it to JC Jane. JC Jane and Gigi Dolin had a good interaction. Former members of Toxic Attraction, former tag team champions. I like how that conversation was good, because they're going to eventually have a rivalry again. Shotzi, she did good. She would start a match. She hit a senton from the top rope. She pinned Fallon Henley, the NXT Women's North American Champion, to get the victory for her team. I thought it would have been maybe Tatum, maybe got the pin, because it all started with them Fatal Influence messing with Tatum, then Gigi and Shotzi coming in. But it was a very good, solid match. It was crazy though, very, very wild though. But it was a good matchup, with these here. So with that being said, let's move on to the next match of the night. Now we had here, as you guys already know, we had not just 2 NXT World Championship matches. We had NXT North and NXT Heritage Cup match. And we know that it was going to come down to a one winner. Like I said, the rules are not like it was with regular British Cup rules. I will say this, Charlie Dempsey and Lexis King, they got good chemistry. I will say that this is I want to say, I know that this match here is normally, a British Cup rules, and they had to change it for Southern rules. But I really would like it if they did go back to British Cup rules, because this is not a title, it's not a championship. But I understand why they did this type of match. It was very confusing at some points. We're not used to seeing the Heritage Cup being defended this way, in this manner. But it was definitely needed. This match definitely needed a closure, because this is what their third match together. Now, Lexis King had no ruling ring with this time. No catch quarter crews at ringside. But I did see Charlie Dempsey bleeding as he was going to make his comeback. But awkward moment for the matches where after a leapfrog, it led to inadvertent low blow. Lexus King his finisher on Charlie Dempsey, and it looked like he's going to be back into the heel. But with that being said, Charlie Dempsey, which I predicted, is the NXT Heritage Cup champion, despite having the cup taken away from him and no William Regal in sight. He did this on his own. So congratulations to Lexus King, becoming the NXT Heritage Cup champion. So that was good for him. So give credit where credit is due. But yeah, that is how that went. Other than that, though, let's talk more about it. But congratulations to Lexus King for winning this cup. So we'll see how this is going to go as champion, as the Heritage Cup champion. But other than that, though, let's get on to the main event, and then we'll talk about The Rock too. Well, the last match of the show, Rock actually was the main segment. But let's get to it anyway. All right, we had a triple threat. We had Trick Williams, Trick Willie, defending that title against both. Well, here's how this went. It was originally, of course, Trick over Eddy. Eddy Thorpe was attacked backstage earlier that night. He told Ava what happened. Ava was not buying. She thought he was trying to stage his own injury again to weasel way out the match. But he said he really was attacked. Later on, it was stated when Rock and Ethan Page had a promo of that segment backstage, Rock introduced himself to Ethan Page. Femi did talk to Ava, and he did state that he did indeed attack Eddy Thorpe, and it was revenge on what Eddy Thorpe attacked him last week when he attacked him and Trick Williams. However, the match did start with both Trick and Femi, and I have to say Femi shut down Trick. Trick was no match for this man. Trick was definitely overpowered, and we knew that was going to happen. I did see Trick Williams. He tried to he got some near falls on there, but during the match too, Trick Williams was, like I said, was getting worked by Femi. Femi hit that powerbomb. It seemed like he had the win in the bag. Eddy Thorpe did show up in the match like I thought he would, and he pulled the ref out, and he was taken by ringside. However, Trick Williams did hit a rock bottom from the middle rope, only for a 2 count. Honor the Rock pretty much, or the bookend by Booker T. But other than that, though, Femi, when he saw Eddy Thorpe try to interfere, he gave him that work, gave him some slams. However, Trick Williams was ready to hit the trick shot on Eddy Thorpe. Well, I'm sorry, he hit the trick shot on Femi. Eddy Thorpe grabbed a steel chair, triple threat, no rules, right? He had the chair, but the trick shot ran into Eddy Thorpe's chair. Femi hit his finisher on Trick again. He got the victory. He had in the bag, and next thing, the crowd erupted, and many predicted what we knew was going to happen. Now, I originally didn't have Femi winning, not at this event, maybe stand and deliver, but either way, he's your brand new NXT champion. The Trick era is over. It's Femi's time, and he did good shutting it down. He gave that work for real to Trick Williams. So congratulations to Femi. Hit the fall from grace. I forgot to name that finisher. But as I did with Giulia earlier, Gave her due. I gotta do the same with the ruler. You deserve it, my man. Definitely deserve it. Well-deserved win. Like I said, we all knew it was inevitable that Femi was going to win the NXT Championship. I didn't think he would win it at NXT New Year's Evil. I know NXT Stand delivers a big stage for someone of his caliber, or maybe Vengeance Day next month in February. But either way, like I said, he won a title, well-deserved. Trick on his run ended at 98 days as NXT champion in his second run. We'll talk more about Trick and Roxanne losing their belts, but that was the end of that match. However, we do have the final segment of the show. And that final segment of the show, yes, it was The Rock, the final boss. Now, he did, before coming out, he did, however, had a little interaction with Ethan Page. He did talk about how Ethan told Ethan Page, Ethan Page and Ava been at odds. Ava, the real life daughter for The Rock, in case you guys don't know. Ava, real name is Simone Johnson. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. See the connection there. Anyway, Rock told Ethan Page, are we cool? Because Ava, I may be the final boss. When it comes to NXT, Ava is the final boss. And he let him know, Ethan Page, who normally is talking crazy out of pocket, he did not do that with the final boss because he know what time it is. And if he knew, Ethan Page knew if he did get try to talk crazy to the final boss, he would have got that work.
So whether you like it or not, you about to get that work, son.
So he already knew what time it was with him. Very good segment there. Then Rock came out later. He talked about the segment. You're right, CeeLo. You did call that Trick was gonna lose. You're right. Rock came out later that night to close out the segment. And when he did come out, the promo was kind of odd because Rock, we do know that he's, like I said, connected to Ava. That's his daughter. I get all of that. However, when he came out, he didn't have much to say. He had, 6 minutes. He kept saying he was trying to put over the NXT locker room, saying, in the next few years, the NXT men and women, they will main event WrestleMania. And if they do go to main roster, he did say that, they put in work, but it seemed like he was also mentioning too that he was talking more about how he was not only just putting over talent, he was also talking about how he was catering to the crowd too much. And he was talking about, how he kept cursing just like he did on Netflix. And then he referenced the the CW network. He referenced Nick Khan, Triple H, said he knew for weeks he was going to come out to NXT, but he didn't know what to say. And Ava told him backstage before, bring the fires a different intensity. But despite all that, Rock, he didn't, he's kind of rushed how he came out there. It was also too how The Rock also, he said that he wanted to make sure he made his time. He said that, he got bleed from the censors and all that. He did try his best putting over NXT roster, but it seemed like the promo was not over like it should have been. But he tried everything he could. But that closed out the show of NXT, guys. It did. But, we'll see what you guys say about when it comes to the final review I have of the show. Let's see what you guys have to say before we do get there. Yep. Yeah. CeeLo was right. You brutally honest, I thought he was going to lose, but did not get pinned. That's what I thought he would retain because NXT was known for, they normally don't have two champions change hands at an NXT TV event, They normally just have one, but the fact they had both Roxanne and Trick lose lets me know they got further plans for them. And yeah, I thought they was gonna save that too. Trick was over one-on-one in at Vengeance Day or Stand Deliver. Guess I was wrong. That happens. That's why we call predictions for a reason. But other than that, though, guys, you guys saw what happened here tonight on NXT. You saw how it went down. We got brand 2 new champions in the names of Femi and Giulia. Now, with that being said, we have come down to a rating. Now, despite all of that, the title matches, NXT Heritage Cup, tag team matches, my rating when it comes down to this show here as a whole, I would say my review for NXT rating was very good, 4.5 out of 5. A very good show. Very good NXT New Year Evil. And you guys can also check on my community tab. Let's see what people around the rest of the community have to say about the rating of NXT. All right, we had 79% people give it an A, 10% gave it a B, including me, 8% gave it a C, and 3% gave it a D, or I meant to put F, but that says G, but you guys get the miss. So other than that, though, guys, that is the review of the show. But before we do go further, let's talk about it. And of course, let's talk about what went wrong with NXT. We're gonna go over it. All right, let's get to it. First thing, we're gonna talk about what went wrong with NXT. The first thing I want to mention, Stephanie Vaquer versus Shotzi, #1 contendership. Why? Backstage after Shotzi pinned Fallon Henley in a tag team match, 6-woman tag I mentioned earlier. Early that night, Stephanie Vaquer won a 4-way match to compete to give Fallon Henley for her NXT Women's North American Championship. So we know that Stephanie won her match. We know she became a winner. And we also know that Shotzi won the tag for her team. My issue with this is Stephanie Vaquer won her match at tonight on NXT. We know that. We also know that Shotzi pinned the champion, but my problem is Stephanie earned her right to face Fallon Henley, but Shotzi didn't. And then when Stephanie, told Ava, Shotzi said she wanted a shot at the Women's North American Championship. Shotzi, Stephanie was like, hey, I earned my match. And then Shotzi said, what you trying to say? Well, what Stephanie saying to win the match to face Fallon Henley, you didn't do that. You just won a tag match. You won a tag match, not a one-on-one match. In the tag team match, what do you get off coming saying you earned a shot at the NXT Women's North American Championship? I didn't like that, because if they was going to run with the Stephanie versus Shotzi, and I said I was going to reference back to Stephanie match, if they was going to run that angle, I thought either or Shotzi could have been added to the 4-way match, made a 5-way match, or they could have done that, or they could have better off did that. Why come here? And I don't like what WWE did that, because it made Stephanie winning the match in a 4-way a waste of time. And you guys know, unless this is not official, I saw this segment, may not be official, just for the record, but if it is, what happens when I see stuff like this happen? Waste of time.
What's gonna happen? No. What? You just made the list.
So yeah, this definitely made the list on that one. This was not cool. Shotzi, where do you get off? You don't deserve that. So that's one problem I saw with this recent episode of NXT. So another part that I saw was the issue. And it's been a lingering issue. It's been going on for months, actually, not just this week. Can we all agree that Fatal Influence ain't nothing but a Toxic Attraction 2.0? JC Jane, her tactics, her mannerisms, the way she's acting in Fatal Influence, it's the same way she acted in Toxic Attraction. It's no different. The only difference is you swapped out Gigi Dolin and Mandy Rose for Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix. But the difference was Toxic Attraction had gold. Mandy Rose, NXT Women's Champion. Toxic Attraction of the team of Gigi and JC, NXT Tag Team Women's Champions. However, with Fatal Influence, only Fallon got a title. I mean, come on. But other than that, though, I don't like this. This stable's not going to get anywhere unless it creates its own identity. You're too similar to Toxic Attraction, or maybe Pure Fusion Collective on Raw, whatever the case may be. Fatal Influence, you do something different. And since I see that it's not different, we already know what happens when it comes down to that at that particular point.
What's gonna happen? No. Words? You just made the list.
Definitely made the list on that one. Definitely. No good. No good at all. And I hope WWE really do something with this stable. Because it's, besides Fallon winning the title and barely defend it without help all the time, it's really not going anywhere. Well, let's go to another part that I did not like about this current episode of NXT. Let's get to the big elephant in the room. Let's talk about it. Now, save this one for last. The Rock's promo was cringe. Can we all admit that too? This was not a great promo by The Rock. If you're trying to come having the megastar power that you have, multiple time world champion, main event WrestleMania, future Hall of Famer, TKO, member of the board, final boss. He doesn't get any bigger than The Rock on NXT when it comes to namesake and name power. Star power, namesake. It don't get any bigger than The Rock. We've seen big names on NXT from CM Punk, Randy Orton, John Cena, Undertaker. It doesn't get any bigger than The Rock. He is the biggest star from WWE that's been on NXT. That's a fact. But the fact you cut that horrible promo, you didn't know what you were saying, you was rambling on, you tried to put over NXT talent, and you did a horrible job of doing that, no good. No good. And with that being said, I didn't like this promo. I like the interaction he had with Ethan Page. Good back and forth between him and Ethan. Gave Ethan Page the rub. I like that part. But the promo he cut at the end of the night afterwards, I did not like that at all. I thought that it was rushed. Rock was swearing a lot. You was not on Netflix. CW. They had to bleep you out. He was like rambling over his words. You could tell Rock was just trying to say anything. That's when he started be comfortable with the fans, try to cater to the fans. It was just a fail at the end of the day. And we know what happens when I see something that fails miserably. We already know.
What's gonna happen? No. Words? You just made the list.
He definitely made the list on that one. No doubt about it. Definitely made the list on that one. There's no other way of putting it. Rock did indeed just that. And you remember TKO, boy, Rock. You know that was whack. But despite all of the issues with NXT, let's talk about what went right with NXT, because it still was a great episode. We cannot ignore that. Still a good episode. So with that being said, guys, let's talk about what did go well on this episode. First off, like I said, was much to my surprise. Was not expecting this, the results being the way they were due to my prediction. 2 new champions at WWE NXT TV special was a good move. Very good move. And I also like how they highlighted them and they closed out the show with both Giulia and Femi being your brand new champions. This was great for WWE. This was great for NXT. And it's great ushering a brand new era of Giulia, who, definitely earned it. Femi, he definitely earned it. But this was great for both Oba and Giulia. I like what they did with both of these wrestlers. They definitely did. They earned their spot. There's no other way around it. These two definitely put in that serious work. They definitely deserve to be champions. And I can't wait to see how NXT is going to book both these champions because they won the belts the same night. I mean, think about it. We opened the show with Giulia winning the NXT Women's Championship. And we closed the last match of the night before Rock with Femi winning the NXT Championship. And then after Rock cut his horrible cringe promo that was pathetic, we did highlight both champions putting both titles in the air and closing out NXT. So great job by NXT, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the production team, you name it. They did well with that, and I'm very proud of what NXT is building. I'm very proud of how they showcasing the talent, and we definitely seeing brand new people come on NXT, and they definitely are new champions. So congratulations to both Oba and Giulia. Now that's one thing I saw great with the show. Another thing I saw that went right with the show. However, we do have two new champions, but now we have two former champions in the names of Trick Williams and Roxanne Perez. Now, with them both losing the championships the same night, Trick and Roxanne, both veterans of NXT, they both been on NXT for the past, three and a half years. What's next for Roxanne and Trick? Are they going to the main roster? Do we see Trick Williams and Roxanne in both the men's and women's Royal Rumble in February? Do they make an appearance there? More likely they will. And I do see Trick and Roxanne going to both main roster, Raw, SmackDown, no matter. But Roxanne posted that she was sad that she lost the belt. Her and Cora both lost at NXT. They're both down about that. Trick Williams was down about losing his NXT championship. But there are a bright future for both Trick and Roxanne. They definitely are putting in work. Trick Williams, two-time NXT champion, is current run in their 98 days. Roxanne Perez currently in her run, I think, over 200 days. And her second run as two-time NXT Women's Champion. So give credit where it's due. Roxanne Trick definitely deserves the work they put in. They made Giulia and Oba look good by putting them over. So that right there, plus the brand new champions that we did highlight, they definitely deserve their respect on that. And we're gonna play this twice.
Yeet. Yeet.
So definitely good for Trick and Roxanne. Now, like I said, they may have lost now, but they definitely have a bright future ahead of them. I don't see any bad happening to them. I don't see them getting released or anything of that nature. But I definitely do see big things happening for both of them. And of course, Alexis Kane as well. Congratulations to him winning NXT Heritage Cup. But definitely, this was good stuff here, guys. Very good stuff with NXT. Definitely always putting talent on. Definitely always making everyone look good. And we got to give them credit where credit's due. So, like I said, it's pretty much going to be the end of Trick and Roxanne on NXT. I don't see anything else happening for that matter. At least I don't. But we'll see what else happens with that. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what the next move is going to be as far as that goes. But other than that, though, definitely, well deserved for Trick and Roxanne. They definitely put in that work, seriously. I don't know what they're gonna do when they once get to the main roster. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens next. Definitely see what happens next. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, but I know in WWE they will figure something out. They'll set up a plan. So how they're gonna debut them. I just hope they don't get botched. I hope Triple H do very well by setting that up with both of these stars. So we got to see what else is going to happen next. Definitely. Other than that, though, Trick Williams, Roxanne, their run was over. There was nothing else for them to do. I don't see them being on NXT much longer. Trick did everything he should do, and I think Roxanne did everything she should do. I don't see how that's going to work, but we'll see what happens next. But at least me personally, I don't see it. Maybe you guys do, but I just hope they don't botch their whole main roster run. All the hard work put in with both these stars, I don't want to see anything going down where they're not noticed on main roster like they should have been, or it should stay on NXT for that matter. So that I hope it don't come down to that, but you never ever know, right? But that is a good thing. Like I said, we done talking about what went wrong, and we also done talking about what went right. But there's something we are going to get to current news of what's going on in the wrestling world today. We'll get onto that in a second. We're going to talk about some stuff going on in the current news. And it's been going on since this happened. This was going on in the wrestling world maybe earlier this afternoon today. Well, other than that, let's get to that right now. And then we'll go on and get to the bonus round. So current news here. We're going to talk about Jeff Hardy claim. Now, Jeff Hardy recently said that he said that he will be probably be bigger than John Cena right now if he was living life differently in his 20s and 30s, compared to how he's living now. We all know that Jeff Hardy has a very troubled past. We know he was on a lot of under influence, a lot of drugs and alcohol and all of that. We know that. He had plenty DUIs, kicked out of WWE, kicked out of, I think, TNA at one point, had a run at AEW, just left with his brother, returned to TNA, currently, I think, still TNA Tag Team Champs with his brother Matt. Now, Jeff Hardy, all due respect to him, I know Jeff Hardy is a multiple-time world champion, holding both the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship at different times, and of course the TNA World Championship as well. I disagree with his claim saying that he would be a bigger star than John Cena, or would probably, had he lived the lifestyle he does now that he did when he was young in his 20s and 30s. I don't think he would. I don't think Jeff will be a bigger star. And the reason I say that, no disrespect to, like I said, to Jeff Hardy, but I'm being honest with this one here. Jeff Hardy, great in ring, no doubt about it. One of the best high flyers ever. You know, he has a unique high-flying style that's been modeled to this day. You got Darby Allin's pretty much, they saying, the second coming of Jeff Hardy. Well, let's be honest, Jeff Hardy does not have the image to be a megastar like John Cena. I mean, he has that daredevil look. He had all the tattoos and piercings. His promos were not great. He was, if you guys remember, I don't remember Jeff Hardy ever being an amazing promo cutter. You guys let me know that who did Jeff Hardy cut great promos with? Who could he hang with as far as promo cutters? You know, he feuded with Edge, Triple H, CM Punk, his own brother Matt Hardy. He never had the elite promo skills. So I disagree with Jeff saying that. It's not a knock to Jeff. I just don't think he had it as far as being a megastar in WWE. I don't think he would ever be bigger than Cena. Cena was the face for a reason. Cena had the look, the image, he had the company behind him. And some people disagree with that claim, but that it is what it is as far as that goes. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see it. But that's what people are saying about that. I know people saying that too because they just don't like John Cena. The dislike and hate on John Cena is real. But I don't think that Jeff Hardy will be an almost big star as John Cena. Not only John Cena, during that era, behind John Cena, it was Randy Orton and CM Punk. And I don't think he'd been bigger stars than them. Possibly CM Punk, but definitely not Randy Orton. Randy Orton was a very big star in his own right. Let's be honest here. So I think Jeff Hardy, I hope you're still not under the influence because you sound like you lost your mind. Let's be honest. But I disagree with this claim. You guys let me know what you thought about this particular claim. I just don't see it with Jeff Hardy being an almost bigger star than John Cena or even equivalent to star power as John Cena. I don't see that happening. I just don't. And it's not no knock on Jeff Hardy. It's just, I'm telling the truth. He was not the best on promo. He was not the best on the mic. And I haven't told a lie yet. Not gonna lie yet.
I'm tired of being nice. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
So I didn't see that at all. I never saw that part. Jeff Hardy was just good for cutting great in-ring ability, but not for promos. Not at all, not one bit. And that's how I felt about that. But you guys let me know what you felt about that situation. However, it's we about to enter the bonus round real soon. We talked a lot about NXT and we talked about what went wrong and what went right with NXT. And now we're going to talk about Giulia, the brand new NXT Women's Champion. And at some point, I'll talk about Femi too. But I want to highlight Giulia today on this particular one. So let's get into it, guys. Give me a couple minutes. We'll get the bonus round started. Guys, we hit the bonus round. All right, we're gonna talk about Giulia. Now, Giulia, as we all know, is your brand new NXT Women's Champion. We know that she won the championship recently, defeating Roxanne Perez on NXT New Year Evil. She's your brand new Women's Champion. Once again, congratulations, Giulia, right? However, since Giulia's now the champion, she needs some opponents. And I did this with Tiffany Stratton. I did it with her, and I also did it with Rhea Ripley. And speaking of which, I want to highlight this too. I think this is amazing. Not just what NXT is doing, because they always doing amazing things on NXT, but also amazing for WWE. So I think it's amazing that within a week, one calendar week, that we do have 3 brand new champions. We have Tiffany Stratton, who won the WWE Women's Championship with a Money in the Bank successful cash-in. Rhea Ripley won on the Raw Netflix debut, regaining her title. And then we have Giulia winning an NXT New Year Evil, defeating Roxanne Perez. Like I said, we're going to highlight this. Giulia, how do we book her as champion? Now, we know Giulia, I believe she's going to have a very long run with this title. I do believe that Giulia is going to have this belt for quite some time. I think she's going to have for a good minute. Very good minute. Very good minute. And with that being said, since she is going to have for a good minute, I could expect her having a title a good maybe like Roxanne. But if I had to guess how long she would have this belt, I would expect approximately maybe 6 to 12 months that Giulia holds on to the NXT Women's Championship. That's how I would see it. But we got to go over a list of opponents for Giulia. We got to do that, but she needs opponents. And we got a list of women that Giulia can face. Now, before we do get into it, I do not see Roxanne regaining this title, and she could get a rematch. But since Roxanne on the way to the main roster, I'm not going to put her on this list. However, there are other women I want to add to the list. So let's go over the first opponent. First opponent we'll talk about Cora Jade. Now, Cora Jade, we know that there's some history with her and Giulia. Cora Jade is the one who initially costed Giulia her first opportunity at the NXT Women's Championship back at the CW debut at October 1st episode. She was the reason that Giulia did not win the championship back in October. She tried to screw her again at NXT New Year Evil, but she was unsuccessful in doing that, which led to Giulia becoming a brand new champion and defeating Roxanne, which is great. But expect Cora Jade to probably feud with Giulia. She's going to challenge her for a championship. After Roxanne is going to be on her way out, going to the main roster, she can have a match with her. You know, she can make Giulia look good. She could be a first rivalry. I can see that happening. Now, do I see Cora Jade winning championship from Giulia? No, I do not. Especially the way Cora Jade been taking L's lately. I do expect Cora Jade to get her wins and finally get her due diligence and get a championship. I don't know if it's going to be an NXT Women's Championship, but it could be the NXT Women's North American Championship, however. But she will be one person to feud with Giulia. It'd be a good way to kick off Giulia's run as NXT Women's Champion. So that's one person in the bag. Let's go over a couple more. Next person in line that I've seen challenging Giulia, Kelani Jordan. Kelani Jordan is one of the best women on the roster, alongside not just Giulia and Stephanie Vaquer and Roxanne. Kelani's up there. She's one of great women talents. She's great high flying style. She could challenge Giulia for a title. Now, Kelani, she's already been the Women's North American Champion, the inaugural Women's North American Champion. So if she's not going to regain that title, she could be a contender for the Women's NXT Championship. Now, could she be successful in defeating Giulia? I don't see that necessarily happen either. I don't see that possibly happening. Not right now, but I do see Kelani Jordan, however, being a future NXT Women's Champion at some given point. Because Kelani, she's been on NXT for over a year, maybe close to 2 years. But she's been making her wave ever since she's been coming on the scene. So Kelani Jordan's another great competitor that could challenge Giulia for the title. Let's go to another person that could be a great competitor for and be a contender for the title. Now, this woman here, she's already fought for the NXT Women's Championship during Roxanne Perez run, but not with Giulia. And yes, we're talking about Miss Jada Parker. Jada Parker could be another good one. Now, Jada Parker, she just got through with the feud with Lola Vice. You know, she had a win over Lola. Lola had a win over her. With that being said, she needs a feud. And I think that's why Jada Parker's off TV currently. When she do come back, I do expect Jada Parker to get in a good feud, something to push her over. And after that feud, maybe whenever that ends, or possibly if she don't go for the Women's North American Championship, she could be a next challenger for the NXT Championship again. It's just this time, like I said, she challenged Roxanne, but now she could challenge Giulia because Roxanne's no longer champion. And we know how Roxanne defeated Jada before. Now, again, Jada Parker, do I see her defeating Giulia for this title? No, I do not. Do I see Jada being a future NXT Women's Champion? Yes, absolutely. Now, of course, you know, I know Jada's a little newer. She's still working on some things, getting everything together. But once she gets together, she can't be stopped. She already has the look. She already has the size. She's got to work on a few things, and I think she'll be good. But Jada Parker will be definitely another good opponent to challenge Giulia for the NXT Women's Championship. Let's go over a couple more. Next person I'm going to talk about here, I'm going to talk about Lola Vice, another woman who's already challenged for the NXT Women's Championship, but during Roxanne Perez run, as champion similar to Jada Parker. Now, Lola, she came very, very, very close to defeating Roxanne. I don't know how it will go with Giulia. Her and Giulia have a good back and forth as well. Similar to Jada and Kelani, if she does not challenge or become the NXT Women's North American Champion, she will be a good contender for this NXT Women's title. I could definitely see her going at it with Giulia. Very good styles. They got good chemistry. And I could even see Lola maybe getting close. She could be the one to get close because remember, Lola Vice did win the last NXT Breakout Women's Tournament. She cashed in at Vengeance Day while I want to say Laura Vaquer was champion. She was unsuccessful. However, Lola Vice is definitely one of the women that I could see after Giulia becoming NXT Women's Champion. She's one of the women I'm seeing. I know Jada and Kelani. I got them in there too. But Lola probably could win a title before both of them would. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Now she could be a good challenger as well. Now the last person I'm going to mention, I'm going to say this for last, is she has a lot of hit. Out of all the opponents I'm mentioning for Giulia, she has the most history with Giulia. Knows her very well in the ring, not just in NXT, but before NXT. And I'm talking about Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer, she was tag teaming with Giulia when she first came to NXT. They, like I said, history on independent scene, Stardom, Japan, whatever the case may be. They both fought over the New Japan Women's Strong Championship that's currently held by Mercedes Moné in AEW. That's what Stephanie lost that belt to, actually. Anyway, Stephanie, as well as Lola Vice, will be a very, very good opponent for Giulia for NXT Women's Championship. And I was go far as saying this: she may be the one to defeat Giulia and defeat her for NXT Women's Championship. I could see that possibly happening with Stephanie Vaquer, because they are positioning Stephanie. She's already in the NXT Women's North American Championship hunt. She's more likely going to be, she's supposed to be the number one contender for that title. I know she's going to something with Shotzi. More likely she's going to win that. She's going to challenge Fallon, and she's going to potentially win that championship. When Stephanie's finished with her run with NXT Women's North American Championship, when that run is done and all that is settled, she's going to go for the NXT Women's Champion, and Giulia's still champion, which I believe she still will be. She's going to be the next one coming after her, and she's going to be the one to beat Giulia for that title. I'm just saying, she could be the one. She could very well be the one to defeat Giulia and take the title off of her, because they are building not just Giulia, Stephanie, Zarya, Stephanie, Giulia. Those are the top three women there. Now, I can see that happening. She's the one I can see very well doing that, to challenge her for that belt. I'm just saying, it could very well be one. I would not be surprised if that's what they're going to do. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I definitely see her being a challenger for that belt. Now I will say this. I'm going to add this as a caveat as well. This will be like an honorable mention. I don't really talk about her that much because she is new. I don't talk about that much. I'll mention her. Thing about it is, I'm going to mention her now, actually. She's actually the last person. Honorable mention. She's not a top contender right now because she's so new. I'm not taking nothing away from her. But as well as the other women I did mention, however, I did mention quite a few women here. I'm going to mention her too before we get back talking more about this. I'm going to mention one more contender because she's a little bit different than other competitors. We'll mention Zarya. Zarya be the last one. And the reason I mentioned Zarya is different than all the other women that I mentioned. She is the larger competitor. She's a big woman. She's muscular. And for Giulia's reign, she's going to need to be challenged in a way where she go and defeat a bigger competitor, similar to what Jordan Grace challenged Roxanne Perez. We need that on NXT. And Zarya is the perfect woman for that, being the larger woman, the muscular woman that could challenge Giulia for her title. Now, do I see her defeating her for it? No, I don't. Zarya needs some fuse on her belt first before she would be considered to challenge for the NXT Women's Championship. So I know she had a little partnership tag team with Soruka, and they take L's right now. But I don't see her winning that title, not right now. Maybe in the near future. But I want to mention Zarya too, because they're building her to be one of the staples of the NXT Women's division, as well as Stephanie and Giulia and Kelani and Lola and Jade. She's up there too. And I know there's some others I didn't mention, but everyone can't be a contender for Giulia. So with that being said, Giulia, she's the brand new champion. She is going to have a very good run as champion. She did very well. Like I said, very good chemistry with Roxanne Perez. And she's been doing well in her matches, since she's been on the scene. And I think it was a good call to have Giulia win the title now instead of winning back in October, because she was so new to the NXT brand. But she did very good defeating Roxanne, and salute to her for putting that work. I know she's going to have a great women's NXT Women's Championship run She did very good defeating Roxanne.
Second time, Northern Light, Giulia. We have a new women's.
So yes, congratulations to Giulia once again. And those all the women I have that's going to challenge Giulia for a championship. We talk quite a bit of women. We went from names of Cora, Jade, Kelani Jordan, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Stephanie Vaquer, and Zaria. So we got a brand new champion. She's going to do a thing. It will not be easy to take the belt off Giulia. She worked hard. She earned it. Well, we'll see how this run going to go. And that's all I have regarding how to book Giulia as the NXT Women's Champion. Because she's the brand new champion. There's anybody can do about it. You know, book is important. She's good on the mic. She has very good English. Of course, she can wrestle. So obvious, but we'll see what happens. You guys let me know. We talked about that. We talked about WWE NXT New Year's Evil, NXT Triple Threat, NXT Women's Title match, and more. Covered that. The rating of NXT. But you guys check out the content here. You know, click the links to the channel for the content for everything. You guys already know what it is at this point. It is OUT.
Like I say this a lot. We're not a sport. We're a movie about a sport or a TV show about a sport, right? So the interest of all the other.
I feel like the heel turn did wonders for me. There was a sense of reality in that to where I had hit a point and the babyface stuff was going great. The Alpha Academy stuff was going great. We had a blast with that. But I'm a realist and I'm also like a long-term thinker.